we've all heard the saying, sticks and stones might break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But in reality, they're wrong. Communication, and words for that matter, are the quintessential part of creating or destroying anything. A written word itself may not have direct power. However, the intrinsic emotion that words can elicit is powerful beyond measure. Words have conquered vast lands and destroyed immense realities that no longer exist today. Your ideas, thoughts, and beliefs are all bound by words with no tangible force directly, and even still, they can change the world forever. Thoughts that you feed yourself on a day-to-day basis can make or break your reality. Your words construct your perception. That's not to say you should be delusional, but to realize positive and negative thoughts can directly affect who you are and what you do. A good example that I have of this in my own life is one day I went to Walmart and I had the brand new Samsung phone that folds. And if you know anything about that phone, you know that it's very expensive. It costs around $2,000 after all is said and done with taxes. And you know, somebody like me, I had to flex it, so I flipped it open and was texting somebody. I was at the self-checkout line and some lady, she walked up to me and she was in awe. She was just like, "Oh, where'd you get that?" And she was kind of making a scene, which was really weird because it was like 7 o'clock in the morning. But I didn't mind too much because I just paid $2,000 for this damn phone and I was gonna make sure somebody saw it so I could flex it just a little bit. Get my money's worth, if you know what I mean. And after she was done taking a look at it, you know, from afar, obviously, she asked how much it cost. And I told her it cost $2,000. After hearing the total, she then had a disgusted look on her face and said, "I would never be able to afford that." And then she proceeded to ask me, what did I do for a living? And right there, within that moment, that's when I realized that's why you're not going to ever afford it, because you don't believe that you deserve it. You don't believe that you can afford it. And I know this sounds like some self-help. I know it's all delusion at the end of the day, but the reality is whatever your mind hears, whatever you speak into existence, your mind hears. And for that, subconsciously, you will never do the things that you think you cannot do. And that in itself exactly explains why she was working at Walmart. Not because she didn't have the talent, the skills necessary to get a better job. It's simply due to the fact that she was limiting herself on what she believes she can do. I understand not everybody can go back to school. Not everybody can learn a trait or a skill. But at the end of the day, why not? Even if there are limitations in this world, why aren't you not willing to test them to see if you can break through and live a life worth living? Today we'll be discussing just how powerful words can be, and the perfect example of this is the Terence Crawford story. Now, if you don't know who this is, he's an undisputed boxer who holds 4 major world titles in 2 different weight classes. So when I say this man can box, he can box. But where did his motivation come from? Where did his talent come from? Where is that hunger, that motivation directly deriving from? Because something like this is very focused and driven. It's not just out of the blue one day. And I think you're going to find it very interesting and very surprising where exactly his endurance comes from, thus highlighting how powerful words really are.
Home to me is home. I think that's where all the pain came from. When I go down to the neighborhoods that I grew up in, that just remind me and reflect back off where I came from.
3169 Larimore Street. Take me back to your block.
And that's where it all started at. Me going in the street, putting on the gloves, me fighting in the alleys. Just a typical bad kid running the neighborhood.
What did you say when he was born?
I remember he came out with his hands balled up. Son, the son I wanted. His dad said we got $1 million baby boy.
My dad used to tell my mom I was gonna be a world champ.
I told him we wouldn't be
So if you didn't catch that, this story is about pain. It's about words that his mom never used and words that he seeked from her. Could you imagine that? Right after being born, no older than 1 year old, your mom is already downplaying the significance of your life. And I want you to focus and pay attention to the fact that all of this is derived, all his hard work, all his success has been directly derived from words that he did not hear from his mother, or from words that she specifically told him when she was a child and growing up, what made him more hungry and more angry to seek her approval and validation. It wasn't just the fact that he got up every day and worked his ass off in order to make it as a boxer to win these world titles, but it was seeking validation. It was words that he wanted to hear from his mother that he never heard.
Terrence's father, your husband, shipped out. So now you're here with 3 kids. What was that like for you?
If Bud was around the corner fight, somebody gonna come and tell me. I go around there and get him. snatch him up and bring him home.
And
And he know what time it was.
he got whooping.
He sure did.
What kind of whooping?
Whooping with a belt.
Tell me about Deborah and Terrence. It's a complicated relationship.
Man, you know, she has her own ways to motivate her son. She has her own way of loving her son. But they love each other, man. They're two peas in the pot together.
You kept telling him, "Oh, you're never going to amount to anything." Did you really believe it?
Some things that I said to him, I wanted him to be a man. And don't be afraid of nobody.
Her guidance is so misplaced on this, man. She thought, in order to make my son a man, I have to directly tell him and remind him every single day that he's not going to be And see, this is where it's very ironic. He didn't become a man based on her teachings and based on her telling him that he wasn't going to be It was based on him trying to achieve her validation and approval. It's a direct trauma response on what she did to him. He didn't become a man because of her teachings and to toughen him up and make him hard. He, quote unquote, became a man because he wanted love from his mother just like any young child would. This also further exemplifies the fact that only a man can teach a boy to become a man. I'm sorry, but women are not capable of that. Just the same as a man is not capable of bringing a girl into womanhood. It's the same type of thing. Now, obviously, they can guide them. They can teach them universal concept and traits of what it means to become a good person. But at the same damn time, there are certain things that only men understand and know amongst each other that women don't know. So when you're bringing up a son, there are some things that your mom is just not going to understand about being a man. And this is the perfect example of that. As a mother, as a woman, she thought that what it means to be a man is to be tough and hard. And yes, of course, masculinity does have some of those traits. However, the way she went about it was directly wrong and in spite of her own childhood. I want you to take a look and listen to what she said about her own childhood and why she treated him the way that she did.
That's a hard lesson to learn. You're 12, 13.
Yeah, but he had to learn it.
How'd that make you feel?
It filled me with rage. And every time I stepped foot in the ring or anything that I ever did, I just wanted to win so bad so I can prove a point to her.
How'd you think he'd do?
He did good because he was around here beating up everybody in the neighborhood. I paid the kids, I said, if y'all can whoop Bud, I give y'all $10 a piece. Couldn't none whoop him.
You went out on the street.
Yeah.
What's now Bud Crawford Street.
Yeah.
And offered $10 to anyone who can kick my son's butt.
Yep.
And a lot of takers.
Yeah,
no
kids
one
in
can
the
do it.
neighborhood. Couldn't nobody whoop him.
What did he tell you then?
He told you, Mom, I told you I'm the best.
It is so odd to see such vindictiveness in a mother to her own child. There is definitely a mental disorder or illness taking place here because this is simply not the way it's supposed to be. It's almost oxymoronical to think that her envision, her dream actually came to fruition. Just think about it. She wanted her son to be the toughest, the baddest dude that she'd known, and that's exactly what he became, beating down all these men in the ring and outside of it. It's so sad that it had to start and begin like the way it did, and it does not make it right or just in any right. But at the end of the day, even though what terrible things she did to her son and what she told him every single day, to this day he's still resenting her, her dream, her ideas came true. This was pure manipulation because as far as we're all concerned, this was for the betterment of her life, not for her son's.
What came first, the mean or the talent?
I think the mean came first. When I first started boxing, I just could fight. I couldn't box. All my coaches was like, he got heart. He ain't scared of nothing, he can fight. That's when they started teaching me technique and the art of boxing.
A good deal of what you remember of your childhood was you getting whooped all the time by your mom.
And I was getting kicked out of school and doing bad things. I think getting whooped, that just made me immune to pain.
Explain that to me.
Well, I was always getting in trouble. So I was always getting a whooping for something. So at a point in time, it just became numb to me. Well, it ain't gonna hurt. It ain't nothing but a belt or something.
First time it hurt though.
Yeah, I was a little kid.
And at some point, the whooping stopped.
Yeah, I wasn't having all that.
He was 13 when he said, Mom, you're not gonna whoop me no more. And he took the belt from me.
I grabbed the belt and told her, you ain't about to hit me no more. all that's out the window. I ain't getting whooped no more.
Did that change you?
No, I think I got more respect, you know, from my mom.
You once told me I was fighting for her approval, for her to tell me she was proud or happy, but she never would, so I stayed angry. Explain that to me.
When she always telling you you're gonna lose, or you're not good enough, or you're gonna get your kicked, or things like that, it's like, okay. When I win this tournament, she gonna say congratulations, or good job, or I'm proud of you. But it never happened.
Terrance became so powerful at the sport of boxing due to the fact that he was seeking words from his mother. That's what drove him. That's what motivated him to do the absolute very best that he ever could, to train hard, to work hard, and do everything the right way the first time.
What he remembers is all those years wanting for you to say,
I love you.
yes.
Yep. Yes.
And you didn't do it.
Nope. I grew up not liking the word. Why? I don't know. Never liked the hugs growing up as a kid. I never liked nobody to kiss me growing up as a kid, and it just grew with me as I got older.
In spite of all his complications and obstacles that he faced, he still became one of the greatest boxers known to man. I didn't even mention the fact that he once got shot where the bullet grazed his head. As far as I'm concerned, he didn't make it because of his mother. He made it in spite of his mother. Lost are the stories of his sisters and his other siblings that had to deal with his mother's rage. I mean, this is just one man who made it out. I can't even imagine the other stories that his siblings have from his mother, wanting her approval, and the different traumas that they had to go through on a day-to-day basis. Words have the power to inspire and discourage. Words have the power to start wars and also to end them. Words have the power to marginalize and also to liberate. Every word that you use has consequences, whether for better or worse. And you need to understand that subconsciously, your mind is listening and watching everything that you do on a daily basis. I'm not trying to sound like a 15-year-old girl that believes in astrology and tarot cards, but manifestation is one of the realest things ever. The law of attraction in a philosophical sense is just the same. Positive thoughts and actions lead to positive results, while negative thoughts and actions lead to negative results. He who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. The first step in the movement of your success is that you have to believe it before anybody else does. And also the fact that there should never ever be a plan B, because it distracts from plan A. You need to put your blood, sweat, and tears into whatever it is that you want to become or that you want to achieve, for better, for worse. You need to understand everything has consequences, and that despite your setbacks, you still have the potential to be great. Be very weary of the little voice that's inside of your head, because I'm telling you right now, that will make or break your reality. It is handcrafted through your thoughts on a day-to-day basis on a subconscious level. Deep down, you need to know that you can do anything that you put your mind to, regardless of failure, regardless of setbacks or obstacles. You still have the potential to get up and start again. The only way that you can't is if you're dead. But beyond that, you have free reign to continue and continue and continue to try to achieve your source of greatness, of success, and prosperity. You need to understand the true power of words and thoughts, because only then can you truly become limitless.